What's up, my freedom fighting family? Hey, we have good news. It's hilarious news. We're going to deep dive. CNN's Brian Stelter is officially done. One less useful idiot on the news. Still a few to go, but it's just, to me, it's hilarious seeing the downfall of CNN. In my opinion, one of the leading propaganda outlets there is. Of course, CNN Plus last spring, this multi-million dollar, might have been $200 or $300 million investment on CNN's part. It lasted 3 weeks. Hilarious. That's an expensive joke, CNN, but thank you for the laughs. And then almost like across the board, people have agreed, like what's united our country is people coming together and saying Brian Stelter has been the worst of the worst on CNN. I will never insult Brian Stelter or anyone at CNN as a person because I don't know them personally. But I will insult the living hell out of their role as a useful idiot because humans deserve better than that. Humans deserve truth and honesty and earnest effort to bring information to them. Not like, hey, I'm getting a paycheck to feed people this horse crap that'll make their lives worse. Cool. I have no respect for that. In fact, I have like anti-respect for it. I don't like it. Useful idiot. So with that said, what we're going to do is take a look, kind of like it's like a farewell ceremony of Brian Stelter, just a clip or two from his final broadcast on CNN. I don't know if there's anybody who's looked at this guy and felt better. There's just something, so many things about the way he looks, like the smug smile. It's just like I tighten on the inside. And then, of course, his show, Reliable Sources. Did you guys call it that because that's the opposite of what it is? Or the creative department determined that name? I don't know, but it's hilarious. By the way, like the people, I love seeing the people's voices heard and people's perspectives and desires being represented based on what happens in the big scheme. CNN's ratings are absolutely in the tank. They're lower than, I don't have the statistics in front of me. So CNN's ratings are incredibly low. And then Brian Stelter's ratings, out of all the low ratings on CNN, are even lower than that. Many of the videos on my main channel get better ratings than CNN. How's that for a hilarious joke? And it's not a joke. It's based on truth. Video production wise, I'm a two-man team. I've got myself and my wonderful videographer, Cal. A couple awesome editors as well. So call us a four-man team. Like look at some of the newscaster videos on my main channel. That's the news. How do we get better ratings than a show on CNN with multi-million dollar budgets, over 4,500 people on staff, to bring these lumps of feces into production? I don't know, but I think it's hilarious. It might have something to do with the people's voices are being heard and represented. People don't feel represented by CNN, so people leave, so CNN crumbles. Apparently, some people feel represented by the stuff we share on these channels, and that's cool to see. Let's take a look, and I want to remind you, we're not laughing at Brian Stelter's expense as a person. We're laughing at his expense in his role as a useful idiot. Important to distinguish. That's our way of saying, like, we're trying to be nice. Let's get into it, Brian. By the way, his farewell video is probably got way more views than any of his other videos. Like, people are like, oh yeah, he's leaving. That's awesome. I want to watch him leave.
Hey, I am Brian Stelter. I am live in New York, and this is still Reliable Sources.
Very reliable.
All right, here we go. One of the biggest media stories of the week is right here. It's the end of this show. CNN has canceled Reliable Sources. Yes, the longest running program on the network. NPR's David Folkenflik broke the news on Thursday.
There's something poetic about him being on CNN, reporting his top story is CNN canceling him. That's fun.
Now, I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I'm going to save those for later this hour. As most of you know, CNN has a new owner. Warner Brothers Discovery is making big changes across the company. And there's going to be more change all across the company, including here at CNN. And I'm sad that I won't be here to cover it.
We're sad too, Brian.
But since this is our final episode, we're going to do something a little bit differently today. This entire
Actually report real news. Awesome. Let's get to that.
hour, it's a special hour, and it's about change. It's about change all across the media world.
By the way, this is funny. Do you see just to the left of Brian Stelter's shoulder, they've got a Fox News logo, and then I'm pretty sure that's Tucker Carlson right by him, who has the highest rated news show. I don't know if this is like attempted subliminal programming. It's like, dude, people don't want to watch us. They want to watch Tucker Carlson. We'll put him in the background, subliminally program people to want to watch us. I wonder if that's what they're doing.
Across the media world. What's changing? What might change? And what must never change about the accountability function of journalism?
The accountability function of journalism. Well, all right, Brian, right now you got none. You think that should change? So accountability, there should be some? Maybe.
You know, I love this show. This small but mighty show punched above its weight.
Not a mighty show. And didn't punch above its weight. It punched down. You're a conglomerate controlled by all the people you're controlled by. You're a propaganda network. The only reason why this show existed for so long is because they were punching down at Trump. He was the underdog. That's why people elected him in the first place. His underdog story. The entire media goes against him. Entire mainstream establishment goes against him, which gave him so much publicity and love from enough people that he got elected. Y'all were punching down, you bastards.
For so many years.
Which also, I find it funny, like his parting salvo, he has to show President Trump. The only reason why Brian Stelter might have been remotely relevant is because of his bashing of Trump, which wasn't even good.
Even a former president commented on the cancellation.
Yeah, he did comment, Brian. What he said was, Brian Stelter of fake news CNN got fired because he lied and lied and lied about me. May he rest in peace. This guy's like bragging, hey, Trump acknowledged my departure. He acknowledged it with an insult that's based on truth.
Reliable Sources has been a one-of-a-kind show and a popular show. This is one of CNN's highest-rated weekend shows.
There's never been a show less popular. That's why it's a unique show. One of CNN's most popular shows.
So I want to say thank you to all of you watching around the world. I was lucky to be a part of it for 9 years, but it began 30 years ago, right after the Gulf War. So here's what the iconic former CNN CEO Tom Johnson said on Facebook when he heard the show was canceled. He said about the show's origins, it was founded by Ted Turner and leaders of CNN who felt very deeply that media organizations have a responsibility to report and to evaluate the journalism profession itself.
Report and evaluate the journalism profession itself. Apparently, Brian never read this tweet until now.
That was the idea. It was a great idea. It is a great idea. And I know many of you are just like Johnson. You're going to miss this show. I want to say thank you to the thousands and thousands and thousands of emails and tweets that I've been receiving this week. I'm going to share them with the staff because they are the ones that have made this possible. You know, the thing about TV is that it's ephemeral, right? It's fleeting. It evaporates up into the air, and a lot of it is not even meant to be remembered.
This is literally a video of TV on YouTube. Like, it doesn't evaporate, Brian. It's like right here. It's literally recorded.
But this program transcended that. It's a part of journalism school curriculum.
Naturally, they show a school full of kids in masks. They're like, hey, propaganda B-roll team, we need school children footage, okay? Hey, they don't have masks on. This doesn't match our narrative. Get us some new coverage. Like, all right, here they all have masks on.
Teachers across the country and in other countries outside the U.S., teachers use segments from this show all the time in classrooms, in lessons.
Dude, I'm interrupting this so much because I've got so much to say. Teachers in classrooms around the country in public schools use segments of this show in the classroom. Oh, you mean the indoctrination camps use segments of your propaganda? Yeah, not surprised.
Guiding and teaching the next generation. You know, founding host Bernard Kalb and founding executive producer Rick Davis said this program was meant to be a critical lens on the media. Such a special phrase, a critical lens on the media.
He didn't do a good enough job of it.
Thanks to CNN management, we've been given the gift of signing off on our own terms and actually talking about the media industry. You know, this is a really, really unusual day. TV networks rarely have a show like this, a show all about the media. And networks, even more rarely, cancel a show but still let it have one more live episode. I don't know if I've ever seen this happen before, okay? So here we are, together, in a super strange situation. So let's talk about it, okay? The phenomenal Reliable Sources producing team has been working around the clock on this special hour.
I think phenomenal Reliable Sources team, you could objectively say they're not phenomenal. Like maybe good people, hopefully, I don't know, they're doing bad things, but maybe good people doing bad things. I don't think good people really do bad things. Let's just say they are. Everybody doesn't get a first place trophy here, Brian. Like they're not phenomenal. It's one of the lowest rated shows across the board. It's objectively unphenomenal. Nonetheless, go on.
Ever since Thursday, no one from CNN management has reviewed my script ahead of time. They have no idea what I want to say. And as the control room very well knows, I typically go off script anyway, so I want to thank a few people. And then
I'm gonna skip his boring thank yous. All right, before we get to the comments, what viewers actually say about this, let's hear Brian's final last thoughts.
Much of the media ecosystem in 2022 is garbage, but so much of it is spectacular. The hard part's sorting out the treasure from the trash.
The trash is actually being sorted out from the treasure with his departure, so it wasn't really that hard.
These are thorny, complicated things. I know I never had all the answers. I didn't even always have all the questions.
He had all
but
the
it was
propaganda.
the gift of a lifetime to get to confront these issues on international television with the backing of CNN. Here's what I do know. I know it's not partisan to stand up for decency and democracy and dialogue. It's not partisan to stand up to demagogues. It's required. It's patriotic. We must make sure we don't give...
He just said the P word, patriotic.
...platforms to those who are lying to our faces.
Someone who's lying to your faces, talking about other platforms lying to your faces. Some of those platforms are telling truth to your faces. Man, the lack of self-awareness that this dude has absolutely entertains me to no end. The lack of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not only self-awareness, but awareness of how other people perceive him. You know, outside of the 3 regular viewers of his show, I'm sure they love him.
But we also must make sure we are representing the full spectrum of debate and representing what's going on in this country and in this...
Representing the full spectrum of debate. He's saying we must represent the full spectrum of debate. Well, maybe if you would have done that, buddy, you wouldn't be fired.
...world. That's why CNN needs to be strong. That's why I believe CNN will always be strong. You viewers at home,
is it?
It's on you.
Now?
CNN must remain strong. I know the 4,500 staffers are going to do their part to make it stronger than ever. But it's going to be on you.
It's going to be on you. Like, it's your fault why we suck. It's on you. And he mentioned their 4,500 staffers. Like, why do you have more staffers than you have viewers? Shouldn't that be different? I don't know. Just when I see gaslighting, lies, kind of the working definition of a useful idiot being used. They sold their soul. Like, cool, I've emptied myself of principles and values. Use me. Did the check clear? Okay, use me to express your propaganda. This guy is just a perfect example of that. Now, let's take a look at some of the comments. What have people said on this YouTube video that's entitled Brian Stelter speaks about cancellation of his CNN show Reliable Sources? First comment, probably the most views he's ever gotten on his farewell. That's pretty good. I wish I could be like him, crying inside but bragging outside. Yeah, that lack of self-awareness. Like, yeah, people are gonna miss me. No, they're not. They're literally excited you're leaving. That nobody watched you. People that don't watch you aren't gonna miss you, bro. Next comment. Funniest part is when the guy started playing music to hasten the wrap up. We didn't watch that, but that's great. Someone just says reliable sources. LOL. The fact that this show was called Reliable Sources was hilarious. Yeah, gotta agree. Now, finally, we might get reliable sources from CNN. Yeah, don't hold your breath, but it's a better shot than with Brian. Body experts are gonna have fun with this. We don't give platforms for those who lie to our face. Show is now canceled. Laughing emoji. Yeah, this is a great comment. When news becomes a business, is it still considered news? A lot of insight in that comment. This comment, he will be remembered as one of the most unifying men in the USA's media. Oh, wait a minute. I actually think he is unifying. People unified in their distaste of him. You gotta love this, just a comment. Let's go, Brandon. This is a fun comment. I've watched CNN all my life and I've never heard of this show, but that guy is awkward AF on camera. And then let's end here, this comment by a lady named Cassidy Hearsay. It just assumed your gender. Making CNN great again. Love that. So that's the deal. We've got one propagandist out. Here's the question. Is CNN really hearing the people's voices, or do they just kind of do a bait and switch? Like, all right, like this guy, people can't stand him. So we're going to bring in someone who's more likable in appearance and presentation, but deliver the exact same tyrannical nonsense? Or is CNN slowly hearing the voice of people, realizing their business is in jeopardy, and are they breaking some of the bonds to the corruption and tyranny that feeds them the propaganda? Or are they going to stay loyal to the propaganda and just try to fool viewers into believing that they're improving, they're listening to the viewers and getting more truthful and balanced? I don't know. I'm not going to put my money on that they're actually improving, but I will put my money on that CNN wants to appear to be improving. But I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is CNN actually listening to the people and improving as a company and what they offer? Or are they listening to the people and then trying to appear to improve as a company so they can save their bottom line in conjunction with maintaining their loyalty to the corrupt tyrants that spoon feed the propaganda to spoon feed to people who are asleep enough to watch their shows? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, thank you for watching, my freedom-loving friend. Stay free.